Back on Get Up, approaching the bottom of the hour, and with the Rockets landing Kevin Durant in the early blockbuster deal of the summer, they have seemingly positioned themselves in a crowded Western Conference to be a step ahead of the Lakers and the Warriors and the Nuggets. Their odds to win the West next season are second only to the OKC Thunder. So we have some burning questions for Bobby Marks ahead of an exciting NBA offseason beginning in LA. Bobby, what do the Lakers need to accomplish here in the next week or thereabouts to become championship contenders?
They need two things. They need a center, and that is priority A. And then, of course, they need some perimeter shooting here. Now, listen, they've got expiring contracts to go out and make a deal over $60 million. Keep an eye on the draft pick they have in 2031 or 32. We saw they tipped their hand in the Mark Williams trade that was voided back in February, that they are willing to go out and make a big deal if they can get a center for Luka, a lob threat, rim protector that they sorely needed.
What feels realistic, Wendy, here in the next couple weeks?
Well, if the Lakers are committed to playing Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, and it seems like that they are going to need some defensive protection from them because teams are going to attack there. So ideally, you could have somebody that could defend a little bit more on their perimeter to use them, and you need a backline center. The Lakers are going to come into any negotiation, as Bobby said, knowing that they gave what they gave for Mark Williams last year, so teams are going to be looking for that first-round pick in the pick swap. So good luck to Rob Pelinka for trying to keep those on the table if he is going to try to make a bargain deal.
Yeah, he made the great move for Luka, and now we'll have to make a few more. Keith, you were there with the Lakers. Yeah, I'm gonna ask you a complicated question. I understand it's not easy to answer this honestly. How close did you guys feel? The Minnesota, that we sort of described it as a bad matchup. How close did you guys feel to being a championship team?
We felt extremely close, honestly, right? The matchup, like you just said, was the big thing. But if you look back at a couple weeks before we started the playoffs, we played OKC in OKC 2 games. One of the games we won by almost 20. In another game, Luka was teched out of the game in the fourth quarter of a really good game. So they didn't bother us that much. So with that being said, I felt like we were super close. Next thing, and to piggyback off Wendy, they do need a big, right? I don't think they should give up their core pieces to get a big. You just need somebody that can, protect the rim, screen and roll, and just, beat Luka and AR's backside. But that piece is the main thing, and get a little bit of perimeter shooting. But I think the guys they have there can actually get it done.
Feels like a year ago, but remember in that series, that game 3, Luka was sick, doesn't play, LeBron plays all those minutes, then they come back. No bench minutes at all in the second half of that game 4, and they almost won that game. The Lakers had chances there.
One thing about that, LeBron actually put it on Instagram yesterday. He was back on the court yesterday for the first time in 8 weeks because that injury that he suffered to his knee at the end of that series, which nobody really remembers, it was a sprained knee. He actually, I don't know if he would have been able to play. So they had some bad luck with LeBron help at the end as well.
Fair enough. So the Lakers, obviously always the center of the conversation, and with new ownership to boot. Bobby, back to you with the big questions. Do the Golden State Warriors, in order to keep up with the Joneses, do they have to go big name hunting again?
They don't. Similar to the Lakers, they need to go out and get some front court help also. They need to put not Draymond Green at the center here. The hard thing that I'm coming to grips with is, what do you have to offer in a contract standpoint? They've got the draft picks. They got 4 first-round picks. They can go out and do a deal. Let's pay attention to Jonathan Kuminga. What happens with him in restricted free agency? That's their big trade asset. Unless they want to dip into, certainly they've got Draymond Green sitting there. I don't know if you want to part ways for him, but they're all 2 to tango. There's got to be a big name out there for them to go out and get.
So, Windman, in advance of what we know, meaning we're in advance of what is about to happen, sitting where we're sitting today, the 3 preeminent stars, the faces of the NBA over the past generation, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, all aging, all still playing great, and now all on contending teams in the jam-packed Western Conference. Which one of them do you think feels closest to having a chance at one more ring?
Well, I really like the team that Houston is building. I like them for the next 3 to 5 years. I'm not sure that I know if Durant's going to be there for the next 3 to 5 years, but he certainly is going to be there in the short term. The Lakers have an opportunity to truly upgrade their roster. They have the assets that it takes to really help them, and they have the top end of their roster. They have Luka and LeBron there, and they have Austin Reeves, who's on a really good contract this year. They have a window where they can make something happen. But hitting that deal is going to be vitally important. They don't have a lot of time with LeBron left. We're not even 100% sure if he's going to even do multiple more years. He may at this point only really be going year to year, so they have to focus on making a big decision. Do they look to try to build more around Luka, or do they try to go for it this year, looking how tightly packed the Western Conference is?
He will turn 41 this December. We're literally in uncharted territory with this NBA star who is still playing at an all-NBA level. Keith, what do you think? If I told you one of these three guys, what do they have, 10 championships between them combined? If I told you one of them is going to add the 11th, which one would you pick?
I'm going with LeBron and the Lakers, right? Everybody had the Lakers winning the championship last year. Nobody was choosing OKC or it was the Lakers versus Boston. So with that being said, they was in prime position last year. They make a couple tweaks and keep this core the same, add a big, add some more perimeter defense. They're right back in contention. I want to say Houston, but on paper it looks good. I have to see how it looks first, right? You see they had a great last year, but you just don't know. So I'm going to go with the team that I'm more certain of, and I'm going to go with LeBron and the Lakers.
Final word, Bobby.
Houston for me with Kevin Durant, just because they still have the players. When you look at Amon Thompson, Şengün, certainly Fred VanVleet, and then you have other things to go out and make another deal if another player becomes available.
Look, all this is going to get reordered in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and more. So we'll keep a close eye on it. Should be a very interesting NBA summer. They always are. Meanwhile, speaking of interesting, back in the NBA2, Indiana was the second favorite last week to win next year's NBA title. Now they don't even appear on this screen of Eastern Conference favorites. Their odds are 15-1 with the injury to Jason Tatum and Dame Lillard. Excuse me, you see the Celtics are down there. With all these injuries, a team like Orlando was suddenly in it. Let me reset here. The Cavs are the favorites, followed by the Knicks and the Magic. Then you get to the injuries with the Celtics. They're still in the conversation. And the Sixers, who sit there as well, relatively healthy for a team that we always say can never stay healthy. So how do we look at the big picture of the East?
Well, and the Cavs are headed into the second apron starting on June 30th, and I'm not sure they're going to be able to re-sign Sam Merrill and Ty Jerome, two key backup pieces for them. Ty Jerome was a Sixth Man of the Year candidate, so I don't know where they're going to be. Meanwhile, the Knicks, because of Jalen Brunson's willingness to take less money, they actually can add to their roster. And so I would even not be surprised if in a week to 10 days that the Knicks close that gap or maybe even pass them if they add and the Cavs lose a piece. And so if you look at the other teams, the Magic have never won a playoff series. I don't know what Joel Embiid is going to look like in the fall, much less next spring. The Celtics may be taking more pieces off. Like, if you're in the Eastern Conference right now, this is an opportunity. And certainly, as more teams, look at this, it's possible that other teams could say, maybe we should take a shot and try to move in there. A team like Detroit. Like, the Eastern Conference right now is in a big swinging flux.
There is, by the way, one addition the Knicks will most certainly make, and that is they will at some point here hire a new head coach. And Shams is reporting this morning that they have interest